Today, I'll be reading Weslandia by Paul Fleischman. Of course he's miserable, moaned Wesley's mother. He sticks out.
Like a nose,
Snapped his father. As listening through the heating vent, Wesley knew they were right. He was an outcast from the civilization around him. He alone in his town disliked pizza and soda, alarming his mother and the school nurse. He found professional football stupid. He'd refused to shave half his head, the hairstyle worn by all the other boys, despite his father's bribe of $5. He wants to keep his hair. Passing his neighborhood's two style of housing, garage on the left and garage on the right, it was Wesley alone who dreamed of more exciting forms of shelter. He had no friends, but plenty of tormentors. Fleeing them was the only sport he was good at. He's got to jump over these garbage cans. They're throwing fruit at him. Each afternoon, his mother asked him the things he had learned in school that day. That seeds are carried great distances by the wind, he answered on Wednesday, and that each civilization has its staple fruit crop, he answered on Thursday, and that school's over and I should find a good summer project, he answered on Friday. As always, his father mumbled,
I'm not sure you'll use that knowledge often, you crazy boy.
Suddenly, Wesley's thoughts shot sparks. His eyes blazed. His father was right. He could actually use what he learned that week for a summer project that would top all of the others. He would grow his own staple food crop and found his own civilization. Oh my goodness, he's going crazy. So the next morning, he turned over a plot of ground in his yard. That night, a wind blew in from the west. It raced through the trees and set his curtains snapping. He lay awake listening. His land was being planted. 5 days later, the first seedlings appeared. You'll have almighty bedlam on your hands if you don't get those weeds out, warned his neighbor. Actually, that's my crop, said Wesley. In this type of garden, there are no weeds. Following ancient tradition, Wesley's fellow gardeners grew tomatoes, beans, Brussels sprouts, and nothing else. So Wesley found it thrilling to open his land a chance to invite the new and unknown. Not those boring vegetables. The plants shot up past his knees, then his waist. They seemed to be all kind of the same sort. And no matter how hard he tried, Wesley couldn't find them in any of his plant books. Are those tomatoes, beans, or Brussels sprouts? Asked Wesley's neighbor. None of the above, replied Wesley. Fruit appeared. It was yellow at first and then blushed to magenta. So Wesley picked one up and sliced through the rind to the juicy purple center. He took a bite and found the taste an entrancing blend of peach, strawberry, pumpkin pie, and flavors he had no name for. Ooh, that's a gross-sounding flavor. Ignoring the shelf of cereals in the kitchen, Wesley took to breakfasting on the fruit. He dried half a rind to serve as a cup, built his own squeezing device, and drank the fruit's juice throughout the day. Squeezing the juice. Pulling up a plant, he found large tubers on the root. These he boiled, fried, or roasted on the family barbecue, seasoning them with a pinch of the plant's highly aromatic leaves. That sounds pretty delicious. It was hot work tending to his crop. To keep off the sun, Wesley wove himself a hat from strips of the plant's woody bark. His success with the hat inspired him to devise a spinning wheel and loom on which he wove a loose-fitting robe from the stalk's inner fibers. Soft inner fibers. Unlike jeans, which he found scratchy and heavy, the robe was comfortable and reflected the sun, offering myriad opportunities of pockets. He's keeping his tools in there. His schoolmates were scornful, but then curious. So grudgingly, Wesley allowed them 10 minutes apiece at his mortar, crushing the plant's seeds to collect the oil, making them squish. This oil had a tangy scent and served him both as a suntan lotion and mosquito repellent. He rubbed it on his face each morning and sold small amounts to his former tormentors at the price of $10 per bottle. He's getting rich. What's happened to your watch? Asked Mother one day. Wesley admitted he no longer wore it. He told time by the stalk that he used as a sundial, and it divided the day into 8 segments. There was the number of petals on the plant's flowers. He'd adopted a new counting system as well, based likewise upon the number 8. His domain, home to many such innovations, he named Weslandia. He's starting his own civilization. Uninterested in traditional sports, Wesley made up his own. These were designed for a single player and used many different parts of the plant. His spectators looked on with envy. When he realized that more players would offer more scope, Wesley invented other games that would include his schoolmates, games rich with strategy and complex scoring systems. He tried to be patient with the other players' blunders. They stink. August was unusually hot, so Wesley built himself a platform and took to sleeping in the middle of Weslandia. He passed the evenings playing a flute he fashioned with a stalk, or gazing up at the sky and renaming the constellations. He's getting rid of the old constellations. Oh, look at the stars. And his flute. His parents noted Wesley's improved morale. It's the first time in years he's looked happy, said his mother. Wesley gave him a tour of Weslandia.
What do you call this plant?
Asked his father. Not knowing its name, Wesley had begun calling it Swist. Uh-oh. From the sound of its leaves rustling on the breeze. In like manner, he had renamed his new fabrics, games, and foods until he had created an entire language. Weslish. If he mixed his plant's oils with soot, he was able to create a passable ink. As the finale to a summer project, he used the ink and his own 80-letter alphabet to record the history of his civilization's founding. In September, Wesley returned to school and made his teacher read this new language. No. He had no shortage of friends. Oh my goodness. The end. Oh my goodness, Wesley was very successful.